So, good afternoon, Brave Squad. There's been some developments, some of which are sadly kind of almost expected. It's a rally. It's just one of those things. It's just gonna happen. So, with that being said, there were two officers who, one of them was shot in the head, and the other, I don't know the location of where this individual got shot. All I can say is that last night the rally from the Trump Hotel to the Strip that ended by the Circus for the most part was peaceful until the very end. There was a gentleman there, and I have a feeling that Soros paid him because he was heavily armed. Let me remind you guys, these people who are the extremists, looters, and rioters have nothing to do with the Black Lives Movement. They certainly don't fucking have nothing to do with Anonymous. They do not have nothing to do with the Antifa. A lot of people are saying that George Soros took over the Antifa, so the underground people who originated that group should join forces with other entities and we become one large human rights activist movement, etc. And I totally agree and get that. But I need to, add this comment that and maybe in a minute you can come in and give your little 5-second talk. But my oldest daughter and I were there. Look, these children whom are 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 years of age, they have every gut. I know you hear them.
Can you guys hear that? It was
But let me tell you guys something. Anonymous is we are fighting for human rights. Okay? We are far too busy to go out and cause havoc, okay? Way too busy. Number one, my point number two is Anonymous doesn't stand for that kind of shit. Period. We are the many. We are the 99%ers. We are the ones who, oh my God, they just came in here. They just went to the other side. Something is actively going on. You see what I mean? I don't think this is coincidence. Something is going on in this freaking place. There is the devil. I don't freaking know what's going on here. But something every day is happening. And no, it's a fire truck. Something is always going down here where I live. With that being said, let's go back to the original topic. Anonymous is a leaderless, headless, directorless. It doesn't have a president. We are the 99%ers fighting for rights. With that being said, we are not violent. We are peaceful protesters. I can't tell you the countless anonymous protests that I've been to. I've dealt with police. I've been able to stand them professionally down and haven't had an issue. And I've been an Anon sister for what feels like a lifetime. And, with all this crazy stuff going down, it's upsetting, really, because Anonymous has nothing to do with that. The Black Lives group has nothing to do with that. It is the looters. It is the rioters that George mother effing Soros paid as trolls to be stomped on what we're doing so they can create this division. Oops, I think I just let his master grand plan out. He wants to create the division between the good protesters and these rioters so they can implement martial law. And when people don't comply with fucking martial law, they're going to bring them to the FEMA death camps, aka help centers. And it's going to go downhill from there. My biggest recommendation to all of you who watch this vlog, do not go to any FEMA center at all. Just don't. I think that Vegas is just bracing itself. I think that our governor is a coward. He's hiding. Instead of joining forces with the Las Vegas mayor and all our other leaders, I honestly think the LVMPD, the Henderson PD, and the North Las Vegas PD should be made to honor the protesters. They should honor, you know, the movement. They should stand united with the Black Lives Matter and the Anonymous. And, you know, because we're good citizens. We are respectable people. We are the ones who are helping to change and fight for rights and laws. With that being said, you know, they destroyed a pawn shop. They lit a car on fire. I mean, God, you know, it's really, it's getting to be really scary, you guys. Really, really freaking scary. I went to the protest personally myself downtown at downtown Container Park. It was phenomenal, very peaceful, very beautiful and impactful until the very end. Something happened. I can't put my finger on it. All I can say, I can only speak on my personal experience. There were gunshots being fired. There were 6 rounds just before I took off with my daughter and our bodyguards. You know, not only the gunfire was being exchanged into the crowd, Metro apparently was throwing nutcrackers into the protesting crowd, and they were also letting go of tear gas. My daughter and I succumbed, unfortunately, to a little bit of tear gas. We were really messed up for about 2 to 3 days, right? Yeah. Your nose felt stuffy, and it was just really one of those moments. You know what I mean? I had a bandana on to cover my face like this so that you couldn't see any other portion of my face. And basically, it got to be very scary. At one point, the police wouldn't stop harassing the protesters. They were the ones antagonizing and instigating the issue. And I can speak about the protest itself because everybody that I saw before me and behind me, they were absolutely peaceful. There was not a single person fighting another person, laying hands. There wasn't no violence during that time. And when I and my daughter were physically there, there was absolutely no looters during that time. I believe that the looters arrived like around 9 and 10 p.m., and that's when all that took place. But please do not be confused. The fake bullshit news wants you to believe that they were present at the same time as everybody else. My daughter's about to tell you too. Emma, get your butt over here. Tell them so that way we can set the damn record straight. Were there any people actively there who were breaking into any buildings or setting things on fire as you and I were protesting with them when we were actively there?
Well, like, does it have to be when we're actively there?
Yes.
Bop it.
Did you see anything lit on fire or anything else?
No, but I was seeing a lot of people drawing on the walls with like spray paint. And they were kind of trashing it. So that was only the one thing that I saw.
So that's the extent of like vandalism that we witnessed, was just the tagging. And a lot of the tagging, Matthew needs some help. A lot of what my daughter and I witnessed was spray painting on walls and sidewalks. And a lot of it was really a part of the, protest. It was a part of what people felt in their hearts. And a lot of them were wrapped up in that moment, if you know what I mean. And a lot of it was to send a message to the LVMPD, to the Henderson PD, to the North Las Vegas PD, that if you guys want, I'm losing my voice. If you guys truly want peace, if you want unification in Las Vegas again, you have to join the protesters. You need to make it known to the Black Lives Movement and to the Anonymous movement and to any other group that was out there. You got to make it known that you stand by the people, that you will not let corruption take over, and that in fact you are standing aside the people. Look, I get what happened. It's scary. It's saddening, and things are happening on an hourly basis. There are new developments constantly. But you know what? Here's the reality. Here's the bottom line. If you truly want peace, hear me out on this, Sheriff Lombrado and LVMPD Police Department. If you guys truly want peace, please, please let the Black Lives Movement, let the anonymous movement and everybody else know that you guys are not just corrupt or backwards. That there are a couple of you within the LVMPD who have your eyes wide open. And to those of you who have your eyes wide open and who still remain within that department, you need to have the courage to step outside that department and let the community know that you fully give your undivided attention and support to them. All the retaliation, all the riots, I really kind of almost started to feel like these looters will stop once they know that they have your support and attention. Right now they are behaving in such a fashion because they feel like George Floyd's death was in vain. They feel that the police officer who murdered him is not being punished enough. Not enough is being done. This officer who murdered Floyd should not be on paid leave. It is not enough that his wife divorced him. It will never be enough because it's not going to bring George Floyd back. And I can tell you first-handedly, he was an innocent man. He was unjustly murdered. The money that he had that you guys are claiming was counterfeit. I 1,000% can tell you, I bet your boots, that nobody took the time to actually look at it. The Minneapolis PD was just called out before even anything was looked at. This is a direct result of the misconduct and corruption of a police department. The people of the United States of America, nationwide, we are fed up with the corruption. We are fed up with the lies. We are exhausted from trying to make amends, so to speak. We want you guys to know that now more than ever. But Sheriff Lombrado, LVMPD, Henderson PD, and North Las Vegas PD, if you want this Las Vegas city to return back to normal, you absolutely need to let the Black Lives Matter movement and Anonymous and any other group who was out there, or all of the protesters for that matter, let them know that you are going to fight against the corruption, that you, in fact, stand with and for and by the people. Because right now, people, you have lost everybody's trust. Right now, you have officers from within your department who are doing similar things to this gentleman from that other state, and no repercussions are being taken. What instead is happening? You guys are covering it up. The media is being paid to cover it up, etc. Everybody knows the truth. We wanted to see how long and how far you guys would stretch it. But it's gone too far. It has simply gone too far. We want peace in this town again. But for that to be obtained, every single police department throughout Las Vegas, Nevada, needs to kneel down with the protesters. Every police department needs to publicly go on every media outlet there could conceivably be and let the whole Las Vegas Valley know that you are standing with, for, and by the people. Right now, I'm going to tell you for what it is. You have lost the trust of the Hispanic community. You have lost the trust of the African American community. And I fear that if this continues, you will lose literally everybody. I need this more now than ever. We need peace in Nevada. We need the chaos to end. We do not need the National Guard. We don't need a curfew. We need police officers who are committed to telling people that they stand up for what is right. And I know for a fact there are a good handful of LVMPD officers who legitimately stand for and by the people, but they are too scared to go public because they feel like their fellow officers from within the LVMPD will scrutinize them, and that is giving them immense anxiety. It is time that you come forward. It is time that you let everybody know the truth. It is time that you guys do not use military weapons. Instead, you use your love, your compassion for humanity, and you let Las Vegas know the truth. It is as simple as that. And I was personally watching a lot of the briefings. There was a lot of negativity in there. A lot of people want the peace to be restored. A lot of people want National Guard, but they don't understand really what they're saying. Officers of the LVMPD, Sheriff Librado, Henderson PD, and North Las Vegas PD, please do the honorable thing and kneel down with the protesters. We're not talking about the people who are looting. We're not talking about the rioters who are causing havoc on each and every city in the nation. We're talking about people, like myself and many, many other activists out there who legitimately want change for the best. We want to see who and which police department will come forward first. We want to see who's going to, let us know, whether it be Henderson PD, North Las Vegas, or in fact maybe even the LVMPD. We want to see peace again, but the reality is it's not going to happen until you guys do your part. For the peace to be restored, you have to kneel down. And I'm not saying don't go do your jobs, because you guys have to, obviously. What we're saying is don't stand for corruption. Don't stand for the lies. Don't allow money to be paid so that you can hide lies for other people. Just simply don't. The folks who threaten your families and your lives, they need to be the ones to be arrested, truly. And it's just unacceptable. You cannot walk around in that type of profession, whether you're FBI, CIA, PD, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can't work for those agencies and threaten other people's families. It just doesn't work that way. I am asking you, in solidarity with all my brothers and sisters from the Black Lives Matter movement, I am asking in honor of all anonymous brothers and sisters alike. We all just want our rights, our Constitution to be honored. We want America to be this bold, beautiful place again. But it's not going to happen until every police department kneels down with the good, we're going to say good, protesters.
Do not turn up the volume because I'm going to be
And honestly give your hearts. Give your 1,000%. Give all of you. Because it goes beyond fighting for people's rights. You're touching people's hearts and souls when you fight alongside for people's constitutional rights. Sheriff Librado, I know it's been a trying time. You've lost a couple of your officers. And it's a scary time, no doubt, bro. I get that. I'm just asking you to do the honorable thing, Sheriff Librado and fellow officers of the LVMPD. Kneel down with us. Fight in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter and the Anonymous. And we want nothing different than you guys. We want our rights to be respected. The rights that are being wish-washed and thrown all over the place right now, we want to fight for them to make sure that our children and our grandchildren and their grandchildren have the America that once was. That's what we're fighting after. We want to leave when we die or something happens to us all, whatever. We want this country and our children to be in a safe place. We don't want our children to be scared to go outside on the sidewalk because an officer is going to profile them or shoot at them, or a deaf kid can't walk down the sidewalk out of sheer anxiety and fear of being shot at. You are absolutely correct. What this officer in Minneapolis did is deliberately unacceptable, and I'm sure he's dealing with his consequences. But paid leave should not be an option. And I just personally feel like his wife divorcing him is still not enough. Because the reality is, none of that's going to bring George Floyd back. It's not going to give closure to his brothers and his family. And I certainly understand that George Floyd's brother wants peace in America again. But you got to understand, Sheriff Librado and anybody else who happens to watch this vlog, people are upset. People physically can feel the pain manifesting. People can't take it. It's sad. It is absolutely sad. This nation and the Las Vegas Valley need a lot of prayer. I was one of the many people who went out to local hospitals, who prayed upon those who had been victims at the October 1st shooting. I literally went to the hospitals and went to churches to help pray over those families and individuals who were in great need. But please hear my cry. Please join the peaceful protesters. Don't go, and punish everybody for the incorrect acts of the looters and the rioters. I ask you to be fair. And in fact, don't arrest the protesters who are peacefully doing what they're supposed to be able to do. The people who are breaking into buildings, people who are vandalizing cop cars, etc., I can understand that. But a lot of us have mothers, have fathers, who have kids, who have husbands and wives, etc. And we need to be able to feel safe. Honestly, right now, I don't even feel safe letting my kids go outside to play. It's just the truth. So before you make these assumptions about martial law and bringing in the National Guard, I just ask you, Sheriff Librado, don't think with your mind, think with your heart, and think and join alongside the people. All we want is justice for George Floyd's family. We want this family to feel the ability to mourn their sons and brothers' death in peace. That's all we're asking for. This riots and looting is George Soros' thing. Everybody knows that. There's no hiding it anymore. It's all over the place. It's impossible to miss it. He paid these rioters. So you guys would be so fearful that you would feel the need to incite these things. I honestly think that he should be the one to be arrested alongside with that cop. Again, my personal thoughts. Sheriff Librado, I have family who work for the court. I have friends who still work in the LVMPD police department. So everything that impacts you comes directly at me one way or another. Hear my cry. I feel like I'm praying to God and asking you to do something at the same time, and it's so frustrating. And that's that very frustration that the nation, the turmoil of this nation is feeling right now. We need police officers who will stand in solidarity with us, not shoot at us, not kill us, not arrest us. The looters and rioters have nothing to do with the Black Lives Matter or the Anonymous. We are honestly wanting to fight for people's rights. We're a whole different... Our idea is to have a beautiful world so our children can flourish. But how can that happen when we have rioters and looters and these people just are being paid to be out of control? The frustration is real, officer. You know, and the devastation is real. My thoughts and prayers go out to the officers impacted, but I also want to extend prayer to anybody who needs it. I also ask Sheriff Librado and the Henderson and North Las Vegas PD, have a heart. Don't think about what the department should do as an entire entity. Just think with your heart. Would you do that to your own son or daughter? Would you join them? There's so many different avenues, really. Just think about it. That's all. You don't even have to respond to my stupid video. Show me tonight or tomorrow or whenever these idiots go back into this. Whenever these dummies that riot and loot go back into the street, show me. Because Sheriff Librado and anybody else out there, the looters and rioters do not represent us. So I ask that you be very careful with whom you're arresting, because some of the people you've arrested already belong to Black Lives Movement. Some of those people belong to Anonymous. And again, let me remind you, Black Lives Matter and the Anonymous are fighting for the Constitution. We are fighting for the rights of others. We want to be able to peacefully assemble again. But out of anxiety, this is why people are doing what they're doing. They're not thinking with their heart, they're thinking with their mind and their emotions. You just have to understand that. Thanks.